Today, we're gonna go over the most complicated figures to collect. Plus, we pick up something special. What if you had to start from scratch and only had the action figures with no accessories? What if you had to go on a hunt and collect all those accessories? And it can be a nightmare. Well, in this episode, we break down the most complicated figures to collect plus their accessories. Will my list match yours? Let's find out.
Okay, hit it!
Now let's start with a figure that we already have. It's the Princess Leia in her Endor combat poncho. Now this figure comes with her helmet, belt, poncho, and her blue-gray or gray blaster. For this figure, it's in your best interest to buy this figure complete, so let's go on eBay and price all of these accessories out separately. We found a helmet for $41.99 plus $5 shipping. Here's a poncho for $18.57 US dollars plus $17.46 in shipping, but it's coming from the UK. So let's just say you got it in the US and we can say $5 just so we can stay conservative on the pricing. Here's a belt for $36.88 with free shipping, which is good, saves us some money. And we found an Endor blaster that goes with this Leia being sold for $69.99 plus $3.50 for shipping. Now adding all this up and adding a 7% tax, it comes to $193.59. Now we also looked for complete versions and found this one for $119.99 plus $3.95 for shipping. And we also found this example for $61.90 with $5.40 shipping. So you're gonna pay a considerable amount to find all these accessories loose and on their own. And plus, you have to make sure that you know these accessories inside and out. And the best place to go is the Imperial Gunnery, where you can check out all the accessories that come with Leia to make sure that you are buying the correct versions. And I always come here before looking to buy a figure, just so I can be sure that I have all the knowledge going into a buy. Another site that I go to is the Jedi Temple Archives. And coming here, you can see great photos and layouts of what the figures and accessories are supposed to have. And this Leia figure is one of the most complicated figures, not only to buy piece by piece, but also it's one of the hardest to take care of because of the cloth poncho that frays easy and all the small accessories like the small Endor blaster that you have to make sure you have all the correct blue-gray or gray blaster that she comes with. There's also a black version of this blaster that would be incorrect with her. And I've seen uninformed sellers pairing this with the figure on eBay. For these complicated figures, I tend to shop on the Facebook groups because if a figure is paired incorrectly with an accessory, the group polices itself and usually lets the seller know of the error before a deal is made or before it gets sold. So by going in depth on this figure and seeing why it's important to try and buy this complete, let's visit some other figures that have complicated accessories and features. And the next figure is Lobot. I'm just kidding. There's nothing complicated about Lobot. Another complicated figure to collect is Luke Skywalker in his Jedi Knight outfit. And the aspects of this figure come in his two weapons. And let's talk about the saber first. Now this figure came with both a green and blue saber. For some reason, the blue saber is more expensive, so to be aware of that is key. These sabers are highly reproduced, so to understand how the vintage saber was made is key. And again, the best place to go is the Imperial Gunnery to understand this. Another big complication is the Palace Blaster. This one comes with a gray or brown Palace Blaster, and it's the less expensive cousin to the black Palace Blaster that comes with other figures, like the Luke in his battle poncho and Lando in his general pilot outfit. Another aspect of this Luke Jedi figure is the cape, which is notorious for fading, tearing, and fraying at the ends. So again, it's another complicated figure that is better to buy complete. And if you do have to buy an item separately, it's key to understand the nuances with the accessories. Now let's move into Yoda. Now I think this is the most complicated figure to understand all the variants in, but it's even more complicated when you get into all of the accessories made for Yoda and which accessories go with what variant. And no matter what variant you get, he comes with the brown or orange snake, his belt, cloak, and the cane. Visiting the variant villain is one tool before picking up a Yoda, or even if you have questions about a Yoda that you already own. And it's key to understand the country of origin because that will be a start to understanding the correct accessories that comes with this figure. And I did a deep dive into this figure a couple episodes ago, so if you want to get into those episodes, Here's a link to that. Next up is Lumat and Warrock, and here's why these are complicated. I can never tell them apart. Even when I think I know, I can let a month pass by and I forget all about them. And I have to go back to a reference site just to refresh myself. I can never tell them apart. Their body color is so similar, and if the hood is off, forget about it. Best way to tell, Warrock doesn't have black lipstick, and Warrock has the belt in his mold. Also, Warrock doesn't have painted arrows in his quiver, and Lumat does. The bow on Warrock is brown, and Lumat is reddish brown. And if you think I'm crazy for thinking that those two are complicated, you must be a Jedi Master collector, because us Padawans need a cheat sheet for those two. Next up is Luke Skywalker in his battle poncho. As mentioned earlier, understanding the black Palace Blaster is key. If a seller tries to pair this with the less expensive gray Palace Blaster, it's wrong. And I've seen that being sold on eBay, so know about that. Also, why this figure didn't come with a lightsaber? Well, that would have made this figure even more complicated. And just imagine if he would have come with a removable helmet. Yeah, if I was a kid, I would have lost that in 2.5 seconds. But the poncho on this figure is notorious for fraying and ripping, so beyond trying to keep the paint and nose on this figure free from scuffs, there's also the belt on this one, similar to the Leia Endor belt. And never try to put the expensive blaster into the holster on the belt because one, it doesn't fit very good, and two, these blasters are prone to bend and break at the muzzle tip. And this blaster is so expensive that you want to take very good care of it. All of these aspects make that figure a complicated one. Next is Luke Skywalker in his Stormtrooper disguise. Another Luke Skywalker figure makes this group, and here's why. You have to make sure you have the correct black Imperial blaster with Luke, and there are 10 different molds that you have to take into consideration. And I'm gonna do an episode where I talk about every single mold variation, but the Luke Stormtrooper was also known to have come with the blue-black blaster. You just have to know which country of origin that one comes with. To be safe, just go with the black blaster. And my favorite, Size Noodles and the Max Rebo band. And here's the ordeal that I had to go through. So it began 2 months ago when I started this collection, and I started on eBay, where someone had got to be selling those. And we found a bunch of items. Some just had one member. Some just had the mics, mostly repro. Some boxed, which that is nice, and that is still on my list of things to get. But with those prices that I saw, I think I just wanted to find one that has the loose figures with the accessories. And it was kind of hard to find. So we found a good item with the seller that had a good rep, but it was missing one mic. So this is where the lesson starts. So I was so happy that I had found the band and I had found one mic that I just figured it's gonna be easy to find another mic, right? So the packaging came super nice, all protected and all in separate bags. These figures looked great, but I am missing one mic, and as I was unboxing, I noticed that something did not look right. And those of you with a keen eye already know what I'm talking about. And it was 2 months ago, where I barely started this collection, so I hadn't gone to the reference sites before I bought the figures, which is a mistake. Don't ever do that. If you're a new collector or you're getting into these Kenner figures from 1977 to 1985, you're really gonna learn from my mistakes. So like I said, I didn't do the research before, but I knew something was wrong. So looking at these reference sites, I mean, look at these side by side. Yes, the microphone is broken. So we went back to eBay and read that nowhere in that description does the seller say that the mic was broken. And I was pretty bummed that the seller didn't say in that description that the mic was broken. And ultimately, it was my fault for not checking and going to learn about the figures and the accessories first, but that's not the only mistake. There is more, and it gets worse. So remember when I told you that I went on eBay and I found the figure and it just had one mic? Well, I never knew how hard it was to find these mics. I mean, on eBay, you can find the repro mics easy as heck, but original ones, they're hard to come by. So I went on a hunt and I did my usual in search of. I'm a fan of in search of. And I even asked sellers that I knew, and nobody was selling those mics. Nobody even had them to sell. And if they did, It already belonged in their collection and they are not gonna part with those mics. And when a lot of mics did come up, and it did come up once, and a seller was doing a claim sale, not just on one set of mics, but 5 sets of mics, it was during the middle of the day, and me, like many of you, have a day job. And I swear in about 10 minutes, they were all gone. Even the broken ones were gone. These things are in super high demand, so if you're looking for one, start now. They're in so much demand. I've seen one single mic selling for about $65 and the flute selling for the same price, sometimes even higher. And when I was starting out collecting and I looked at the price, I mean, if you saw episode 2, you saw that a Leia helmet was going for $78. And what did I call that? That is ridiculous. I called it ridiculous. That's the same thing I thought about this. For a small piece of plastic for $70? Yes, back then, I thought that was ridiculous. So after a month of searching, I did another in search of. And this time somebody actually answered my in search of, and it was from a Facebook group that only sells non-reproduction items. So I did trust the seller. I had seen him sell to other people before. I looked at it, looked at the reference sites, and I was confident that it was legit. And I bought it for $44. Which, yeah, it's lower than 65, but I still thought that it was expensive for one little mic. I did ask people if this is actually a legit price, and a lot of collectors said, yeah, that is the going rate for those mics right now. And it might be a little bit on the cheaper side. And at that time, I was barely a couple weeks into my journey. I still thought that was shocking. I still think it's shocking. So the mic was perfect, and it was boxed super nice, might I add. That's a collector selling to another collector. I appreciate that. So I thought I was going in the right direction. But then maybe 2 weeks goes by and I'm actually on the hunt for the Droopy McCool mic. But then I see a question come up on one of the Facebook groups. Somebody asked the question, why are there black and silver mics for the Max Rebo band? Does it make a difference? And I thought, no, it shouldn't make a difference. You can either collect the silver mics or you can collect the black mics. Why should it matter? But everyone in the Facebook group said this: if Droopy McCool has a black flute, the mics have to be silver. If he has a silver flute, the mics must be black. Was I getting trolled? I mean, if about 10 collectors said the same thing, the answer is probably no. So we checked the Variant Villain, the Jedi Archives, we checked the Imperial Gunnery, and hidden away in the archives, we finally found the info for the band. And what we did find in tiny print says, quote, note the color combinations for the flute and mics are black flute with silver mic stands, silver flute with black mic stands. So this is why, you should always do your research before you buy something, especially if it's the first time that you're gonna own this figure. Since these things are so hard to find, I know that we can sell these things easy, so I know I can get rid of my black mic to somebody who needs it, and somebody always does. And I did end up selling it on that same Facebook group to a person who did need it, so that was good. But we still needed our mics, both of them. We have the black flute. So we went on with our collecting. Obviously, you've seen how filled up that case is getting. And we waited, and we waited, and we waited. And finally, somebody was selling them in a weapons lot. There were 2 shiny silver mics, both of them. It was like the heavens opened up and these 2 mics showed up on my screen. So we bought the lot for $90. Yeah, that's right. Pieces of plastic for $90. So we finally got the 2 mics that we needed. So that one was hell to go through and a journey that lasted for 2 months. So all of those are the most complicated figures in my opinion. Let me know which ones are yours, and let me know if we had similar ones down there in the comments. Or if I missed any that you think are complicated, let me know down there as well. And what's the best way to make sure that you have a figure or accessory correct? Buy them as an MOC or buy them in a sealed box. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what we're gonna do right now. So let's go do some unboxing. Fragile, yes indeed. All right, let's get to opening this one.
Lots of layers of air. I can see it already, can you? I really am excited for this one. And I remember I would always see these hanging up, and I never asked for one when I was a kid. I never got one either when I was a kid because I probably never asked for it for Christmas. Oh my gosh, look how cool this is. Oh my gosh. Still sealed up. Oh, this looks great. And Return of the Jedi items are notorious for the bubbles yellowing, and this one has yellowed quite a bit. But the figures inside just look awesome. And this is the silver flute, which means that all the accessories are black. But the box is in great condition. I don't know if I'm gonna get this graded yet. I probably will. It is unpunched, which is great. On the back side, this is a 77 back. You know, there is some bending right here, which makes me think that I'm gonna get a lower grade if I ever decide to grade this. I am leaning towards grading it just because I wanna preserve it the way that it is. Oh, I mean, the color on the litho just looks fantastic. This is pretty cool. I'm excited for this one. Where was it at? It was at Target a long time ago. At Target for $10.99, if you can believe it. The figures look great inside. I think the cardboard and everything is in great condition. Like I said, except for this vein that's right here along the edge. I cannot wait to put this into acrylic or even get it graded. Oh, it's gonna look so good in the collection. And here they are, the completed set. So we have the loose figures right here and we have the box figures. Again, I really want to get this box graded. I showed you the vein that was in the back, but other than that, it's unpunched. It looks great. The Jedi bubbles are notorious for yellowing. So that's just something that collectors have to live with. It increases in value if the bubble is super clear. This one unfortunately is not, but the box and the color of the box it just looks great. And you saw in the episode when I got these, what an ordeal and journey that was. But just to complete the whole set, oh man, I'm super, super stoked to have these in my collection, finally, as a complete set.
So let's cross off this awesome example of a boxed item off our list. And we picked this one up on Facebook for the price of $375. The acrylic is from Ian's Displays for 36 bucks. And if you found this video interesting, please hit that like button. It does support the channel. And also, if you need any accessories for your collecting journey, down there in the description are links to things that you can buy to help you along your collecting way. And when you click and buy from those links, it does support the channel, so thank you for that. And also, if you want to support the channel for free, please subscribe and also hit that notification bell so you can follow the journey. I post videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time. If you're new to the channel, check out the welcome video, or just check out the next episode. And please subscribe if you want to follow the journey. And remember, there is no shame in being a Padawan.